This question looks really, really hard, but I love it. I'm very excited that the SAT is still doing stuff like this because this is another plug points into equations question, my favorite strategy. Now it should be really obvious. We have an equation. Look, right there. And we have points, 2 of them. So we're just going to plug them in. Don't worry about what's going on. Just plug them in. Don't ask too many questions. Be a robot. Plug them in, and let's start with the easiest point and see what that does. That's maybe, hopefully, we won't need that other thing, but I think we're gonna. So 10 is the y, that's our h of x. So 10 is equal to a to the 0 plus b. Well, we do need to memorize this. A lot of people are iffy on this, but anything raised to the 0 is 1. Or is 1. So there you go. I almost made a mistake there as I was saying it. 1 plus b is equal to 10. So now we can solve for b very easily. Just subtract the 1 and we get 9 is equal to b. The reason people have problems with this is they don't know their exponents, but they also associate 0 with 0. So exponents are just weird. Don't worry about why anything to the 0 is 1. Just accept it and make it part of your process. So now we know the value b. That's really good. It's going to mean this equation is not as weird. And now, though, unfortunately, since we need the value of a times b, we're going to need to find a, and I have a feeling that plugging in that weird point is going to do it. So let's see what happens here. So 325 over 36 is my y-coordinate. A to the negative 2, there's my x, and then b is 9. And we've already solved that, so just plug that in. Now we have a calculator, so I guess I'll teach you how to do this with the calculator. First, I would put 325 divided by 36 into my calculator. I hope you can see this. Oh, there you go. It's going to be this number, 9.02778. Now, you could probably solve this pretty easily with just normal algebra without a calculator, but we're going to use the thing, because I think if you're struggling with this, you probably don't know how to do the algebra. So first, we would do what we normally do with algebra, though. We would subtract 9. Let's try to get a by itself. So I'm in my calculator. I'm going to subtract 9, right? And unsurprisingly, I have trouble with this, you get 0.0277 whatever. So this might be a good thing to kind of like write down. 02778 equals a to the negative 2. Now, though, I don't know what calculators are capable of these days. Maybe there's some really fancy ones that are going to be able to solve this, but we kind of need to know what a to the negative 2 means in order to kind of do the next step. So when we have a negative exponent, it lets us move a term within a fraction. So every number is a fraction if we want it to be, right? This could be a to the negative 2 over 1. So what we can do is we can move the a term into a different part of the fraction, which makes the negative go away. So we would move it down here, and now it would be a squared. And there's nothing left on top except the 1, because it's 1 times a to the negative 2. So it's not like the 1 on the bottom moved up. There was a 1 in both places. It's just now we only see the 1 that's on the top. So now we have 1 over a squared is equal to this 0.02778. Here's where, again, algebra can take over. We can cross multiply or multiply both sides by a squared. So that just means that this 0.0277a 8 times a squared is equal to 1. And now for most people, regular algebra is going to kick in again. We can divide by this weird number. So in my calculator, I'm going to have 1 divided by, and then I've got that answer button. So hopefully your calculator has something like that too. This little answer button down here on my negative, and that let me put it in. And so when I do it, I'm going to get 36, a normal number. Now, if you round it at some point, you're going to get a slightly off number, but I don't think it's going to matter. So we now get a squared is 36, and hopefully we can then see that a would be 6. And so if we go back to our b, right, a times b is 6 times 9, which is 54. Whew. It's a lot. This is still a hard question, right? This goes to show just having a calculator is not like this kind of simplifier of everything, right? We still need to understand math in very fundamentally difficult ways. We need to be very adept at using the calculator, so I expect that I'll be making a lot of videos showing you how to use all the powers that you're going to have. But for now, I do want to stress that this is on the SAT now. Like, this might be in the calculator section of an SAT. So the new test is not shifting the topic. And I don't think the calculator is going to like make everything really, really simple. We're still going to need to know a lot of math to be able to use the calculator effectively. This is hard, but maybe it's more gettable now that you have more time per question and you can take the time to deal with all the weirdness that this one has.